Hello and welcome back to another episode of the old school Iron Man. Last episode we did a ton of Slayer, got ourselves up to 81 magic, which puts us in a position where I'm able to skill my way to 83 magic, which I can then boost to enchant the Amulet of Fury. What we're going to be doing here is looting from our kingdom, and basically my goal here is I need alks. I want to tele-alk my way, at least not to 83, but to the point where Super Glass Make on the Lunar Spellbook is going to get us the remainder of the way there. So we're just going to wait for our these herbs to come back. But our goals for this episode is get 86 or 87 crafting, 83 magic, and about like 70-ish fletching, because we have that elite clue to do where we need to make that U longbow. Based on how much my favor went down, it went to 118 in the coffer amount. I think it was about 9 days of kingdom, and it only takes like 2.3k maple logs to get ourselves up to level 70 fletching if we end up stringing it. So I'm gonna knock this down to 5 and knock mining up to 10. Yeah, we got 3.9k maple logs. We also got some nice bird's nests and yeah, 5k coal. And now, just in case I forget in the future, I'm gonna knock this down and put this back on 5 teak. We're gonna deposit another 2 mil. Kind of running out of cash, but it is what it is. Now we're just going to sit here, fletch our 2.3k maple longbows, and then from there we'll be able to string them up and get ourselves up to 70 fletching and some things to alk that are profit. I could just make these as maple longbow U's, but by stringing them I increase the alk price, get more fletching experience, and get to do a little bit of temple trekking. And about an hour later we're about to hit, I think that's 68 fletching yet, and that's the point at which we now have enough maple longbow U's that if we string them, we'll get up to 70 and have enough alks. So that was my nice little cut-off point, but we need to actually go get the 2.4k bowstrings, which I'm going to do with temple trekking. And that is 2.37k. I was aiming for 2400, but that's enough to get us up to 70 once we string them all. Our first successful run, we'll get a nice little reward token, and we're going to pick bowstrings here. It's blue, so we're going to get 100. 200, and we got 108. And now what we do is we just teleport back to Berg Durat with our legs 3, and we can pick them up again. So we're gonna have to do this about like 15 or so time. Hey, we got the lumberjack top. That means 0.5% bonus XP in woodcutting whenever we go woodcutting again. So that'll be nice. We're currently level 75, and I don't really plan on training it too much in the future, except for diary requirements and or maxing. That's 2,400 bowstrings. I think it probably took me about an hour and a half. There was a system update in between, so I can't tell exactly how long, but I would say like once I got used to it, 2,000 bowstrings an hour was definitely very attainable. 70 fletching, and we have our 2,000-ish maple longbows. We can now make a U longbow, which I needed to do for that elite clue, but we have our 2,000 alks here, which we're going to tele-alk very soon, but let's try to complete that elite clue first. Armadillo Guard is defeated, and we should pick up our casket here. Yeah, all we need to do is get out of the wilderness now. And what do we get from elite number 2? We get another tooth half of a key, a rune set, some nice planks, and some pest control teleports. I guess that's something. Not going to complain about all that. Bought ourselves about 2,100 nature and law runes, and we're going to go ahead and tele-alk. I previously showed this off on episode 10, so if you want to figure out how to do this and the timing and the XP per hour, you can go there. But it should be like just over an hour and a half to 2 hours to get this done. With 100 maple longbows left, we are done with tele-alking. We're 102k away from 83 magic, so we don't have the magic level yet, but we will be using Super Glass Make to actually get the crafting level, so we're going to get that final 100k experience that way. Now it's on to the bucket of sand adventure. We're gonna need 6 for each giant seaweed, so that's like almost 25,000 buckets. Here we are at the Sandstone Mine, just mining away, filling up our inventory with sandstone, banking some buckets of sand. We now have up to 51 buckets of sand after our first inventory, so we're going to be doing a lot of this as we need to get to about 25,000 total buckets. It's nice that they added Tempros in, because we can actually use the bank here and come back every single time instead of having to go all the way to Alcarid, which was a bit of a pain, let's say. I also have on the Varrock armor, which gives me a chance of getting 2, which means more sandstone and more XP. I always forget just how much mining experience you get from banking all this sandstone. We've gained over 100k mining today and are about to get to 76. And previously we did 72 to 75 mining here. So like by the time I get 99 crafting, I'm probably gonna have gained like 2 million, maybe even more experience from mining sand. And then add in the amount of mining experience we get from like runecrafting bloods. Like I'm probably going to be up in like the 80s somewhere without having to actually touch mining. But we are going to go back to Motherlode Mine at least to bank some smithing levels and get some alks there, because we are running dangerously low on cash. It's a little less exciting the second time you come through here, but we're up to 77 mining. And how many buckets of sand do we have? We have 18,000, so we have just under 6,000 to go. I'm going to try to get this done tonight so we can move on to super glass making and blowing the glass during the weekend. It's been a long 3 days of mining. I actually don't know how many hours I spent here. I want to say probably 10 total, but we have 23.9k buckets of sand. So we're going to have to go get our cash stack and purchase these buckets. And we're going to buy all of the buckets of sand we can, and it's going to cost us just over $1 million. Our cash stack is now down to 975k, so we are pretty poor. And all that's left is to get enough astral runes to be able to use all the casts, which seaweed-wise we have 3.9k, so we're going to need a total of about 1,300 astral runes. We hit pretty well here, so we might get a PR, a little slow at the end, maybe like 135. 119, that is a new PR, and we also picked up the Weed Whacker task. What's that for? The Weed Whacker task is for killing all of the flowers in 5 seconds. Guess I was just quick enough with my darts. But let's see what we get from Hesperia. This is kill count 24, and we still don't have the bucket. And that continues, just some Addis seeds and Snapegrass seeds. Man, I'm so tired right now. I hopped to like 6 worlds and bought soul runes instead of astral runes. That is a big waste of GP. No more accidents, and we have all the astral runes we need. The way to train crafting is pretty simple. You load up 3 giant seaweed and 18 buckets of sand in your inventory, then use the super glass make spell to turn all of that into molten glass. Sometimes you only get 18 molten glass, and other times you get like 30 or more. The extra glass goes to the ground, and once the stack hits about 20 or so items, I'll skip an inventory and just pick up the excess glass. This is commonly referred to as 3 to 18 pickup, and when doing this method, you can expect about 9.6 molten glass for every giant seaweed used, so you get a net benefit of 60% from the spell. As we are making lantern lenses, that makes each giant seaweed worth 588 XP each, so a seaweed run can be worth like 40 to 50k crafting XP banked. Once we get to 87 crafting and make oil lamps with our molten glass, that will turn to 732 XP per giant seaweed, which is a lot better. As a whole, it's better to overbank molten glass, gaining crafting XP that way so that you can make less lantern lenses and more oil lamps, leading to a better overall average of XP per giant seaweed. It's always fun to get a crafting level from the glass making part of it. We're up to how many molten glass? We have 36,227 molten glass and like another 24 on the floor. We still need to do about 300 casts in order to get our mage level up to 83. So even though we have like 86, 87, 88, probably up to 88 or even 89 crafting banked. We're gonna keep going and do this all the way through until we get our mage level up with this final 23k XP. And a little bit later, we are now 83 magic. Doesn't really give us anything. Yeah, we can cast Fertile Soil, which basically acts as super compost. But I end up using Ultra Compost everywhere, so it doesn't really do much for me. But the most important thing is that I can now boost to 87 with the magic potions I have. Molten Glass wise, we have 44.7k, which is a lot. Like, a lot. It means we can probably get up to like 88, maybe even 89 once we start using light orbs and if we like go through all our gems as well. So it's going to be pretty interesting how far we go. And before you leave Lunar Isle, always make sure to swap back onto normals. I've left one too many times. So this will be my home for the next week or so. We're going to be making lantern lenses all the way up to 86 crafting. 113 Hespori PR, and I splashed on the 2 melee hits before, so I probably have like, I don't know, 110, 108 potential with this gear. And we got a Chronos Seed. No bottomless bucket yet, and we're still at 25 KC. I think that's almost drop rate. And countless hours later, we hit 86 crafting. I don't think that actually unlocks anything, but we now can +4 boost in order to make our Amulet of Fury at level 90. And we can also be able to +4 boost to make the Ring of Suffering if we ever get a Zenite. But Molten Glass wise, we still have 20,000 extra glass. So I think if I were to make those into like lantern lenses and then light orbs at 87, we'd probably get to like almost 89. I think I'd be like halfway between 88 and 89, which is really nice to get. We also replenished ourselves with another 1,000 giant seaweed. So that's another like 700k experience bank, so another level there. So maybe we'd get up to 90 and be able to make most of the items with a +4 boost. But let's go make this Fury. So we cut the onyx, we eat our pie, we make an onyx amulet, we string it, we drink our magic potion, and we cast our level 6 enchant. And in that rapid fire amount, we get an Amulet of Fury. I have no stat-based amulet on, so we can see its stats right here. +5 prayer, +8 melee strength, and then 10 for all attacks and 15 for all defenses. This is a really nice amulet because while the Amulet of Strength has the ultimate strength bonus at +10 for now, the Amulet of Fury provides us accuracy as well and +5 prayer, which is going to make it more likely for me to want to start pietying tasks. Right now, I've basically not been using piety at all. It just drains too much prayer. But with 5 prayer from that, another like 10 from proselyte, I could see myself actually camping it. And then the extra accuracy kind of makes up for the strength amulet's loss of DPS. But some monsters, the strength amulet will actually still be better. Its real upgrade for now will probably be with ranged, where the +10 attack bonuses actually makes a big difference. But yeah, that's going to be this episode. We did a lot to get this Amulet of Fury and add it into our gear tab here. We did a lot to get the Amulet of Fury and add it into our gear tab here. Now, Zuck is about to come out on RS3. For context, I'm not sure when this video will be up, but it's the night before Zuck coming out. So I'm going to put this account into AFK mode, and I have two kind of goals I want to work towards. First of all, if we look at our Caramblon stack, we are down to 200 cooked, and I don't know how many raw I have. I have 2 raw. So we basically have no fish at the moment. So I'm going to go out and catch a lot more raw Caramblon, so I have enough food to get me through the 85 Slayer grind. On top of that, I'm going to continue farm runs as usual, just do one every day or so, whenever I can. And then the other thing I want to work on is banking 68 to 70 smithing. If you might have noticed, my cash stack is down to like 600k. What is it? 667k. So getting up to 68 smithing would allow me to make mithril plate bodies. And mithril plate bodies would then be really good alchs to get my cash stack up. And we're going to need 70 smithing for quests in the future. So I'm gonna take my extra mining levels I gained from Sandstone and go over to Motherlode Mine as well, as a nice little way to bank up some XP while I'm more actively playing RS3 and just passively playing old school. If you enjoy the series, leave a like on the video. If you enjoy the channel, subscribe to the channel. There'll be a new old school Iron Man episode every week until I run out of episodes, and I'm looking like the backlog is still good. But past that, have a good day, and I'll catch you on the next one.